A new 48 Hours investigation tells the story of one Louisiana family's nearly decade-long search for justice. In 2014, a young mother called Megan Parra was found inside her own home, shot to death. Her death was ruled a suicide initially, and the case was closed. But Parra's family felt that investigation had been rushed, so they took matters into their own hands and reviewed evidence from the case themselves. Lead national correspondent David Begnaud, on assignment for 48 Hours, has a preview.
On June 28, 2014, in the small town of Cottonport, Louisiana, Missy and Steve Dokoupil faced the unthinkable when they discovered their daughter Megan Parra in her own home with a gunshot wound to the head.
I wouldn't know how to tell you. I've never felt like that before or since.
Missy, a nurse practitioner, tried to revive her daughter.
She was breathing, just barely though.
Megan's husband, Dustin, showed up minutes later, slipped in his wife's blood, and also tried to save Megan. But it was too late. She was taken off of life support the next day. Her death was ruled a suicide. But Steve Dokoupil was convinced there was foul play.
I knew something was wrong with this case from the start. Well, I knew she hadn't killed herself.
He eventually got his hands on more than 100 images taken at the shooting scene. Some of the photos revealed signs of a struggle, says Dokoupil, like this wine rack found behind a chair. Megan's sister, Betsy Janson, says the blood spatter patterns just didn't look right to them.
We were on the computer researching and learning about ballistics, about blood spatter.
Steve Dokoupil says they kept finding more and more evidence they believe proved Megan was murdered, but no one would listen.
The state shut you down.
Oh, yeah.
Sheriff shut you down.
Right.
Until a crime scene analyst discovered what he believed to be irrefutable physical evidence on the shorts Dustin was wearing that day. Evidence that the Avoyelles Parish District Attorney Charlie Riddle presented to a grand jury on October 13th, 2021.
6 minutes after you presented to the grand jury, they come back with a charge of
second-degree murder.
But it was not an open and shut case, says Riddle.
People thought we were just a grieving family, and he just led us for 9 years, still leading us.
Wow. David Begnaud joins us now. David, good to see you. Tough story here. Why was Megan's death initially, anyway, declared a suicide?
Well, Tony, Megan was discovered in her own home. She was alone, and the doors were locked, so it looked like a suicide at first. And the night before she was found shot, Megan was in a car accident. She was driving by herself. She had gone off the road not far from home and hit a tree. Megan said she had just lost focus, though it's not clear if she had ever tried to hit the brakes. So when Megan was found shot, the original detective on the case thought, okay, it's a suicide. But he did very, very little to investigate.
David, cases like these usually come up on obstacles. What were some of the obstacles in this one?
Well, Nate, you had state and local experts who had investigated and actually disagreed with what the family's expert found on Dustin's shorts. In fact, they were planning on testifying for the defense. Now, you're going to have to watch to find out what the resolution of the case was. The way it ends, the way the hour ends, is quite stunning.
Did they find help from anyone? Any surprises pop up?
Yeah, after pushing authorities for years without success, Steve called an old high school friend who happened to be a retired FBI agent. Wow. He and a second retired FBI agent actually agreed to help. So they convinced the Cottonport police chief, this is a tiny town in central Louisiana, they convinced him to deputize them so that they could then investigate in an official capacity. They started interviewing witnesses, which was recorded on body cam, by the way. You're going to see that in our report. And they actually interviewed Dustin, Megan's husband. Wait until you see that interview.
Hey, David, it's clear that this family just was relentless in their pursuit and advocating to find out what happened to their daughter. How did the family get those photos that seem to prove really important?
Well, Jerika, Steve Dokoupil contacted the officer who actually took the photos, Dave Blanchard, and found out that Blanchard had never erased them from his camera. In fact, they were in a trunk. He was just hiding them there. Not hiding them, but keeping them there. And Blanchard told us he saved them because he felt that something was kind of off, a little suspicious in the case. Steve Dokoupil asked for the photos, but Blanchard said, hey, listen, I'm not authorized to give them to you. You got to go get them from the district attorney. So he asked the DA, he demanded the DA give them to him. And the DA gave him the photos, and that was a game changer.
Wow. All right. David Begnaud. David, thank you very much. You can see David's full report, the suspicious death of Megan Parra, on 48 Hours tomorrow night at 10/9 Central, right here on CBS and on Paramount+.